Why are native speakers so hard to understand? Well, this is English.
I was doing a play in third year of drama school.
This is also English.
People are beeping at you and you're trying to navigate around all the cars, and especially in London, in any kind of big city, it's just awful.
And this is also English.
But my older brother sometimes would pull pranks. He was a bit of a prankster. He liked to pull pranks on me and try to warm me up or whatever.
Let me help. Today, I'm going to be helping you to understand native speakers. Now, we're going to be focusing mainly on native speakers from the UK, but trust me, this will help you understand lots of different types of English. What I'm going to be giving you today is some varied listening practice. Too often, English learners do not make their listening practice varied. They just listen to the same type of English again and again. So I am going to give you 3 stories that I recorded, and we've got an easy level, medium level, and hard level. Okay, so the easy level, I'm just going to be talking like this with a kind of standard English accent. I'm sure you are very familiar with this accent. It's probably one you've heard quite a lot, so it should be the easiest one for you. The medium level, I'm going to be doing an Essex accent, okay? Now, it's not a perfect Essex accent. I'm not from Essex, but it's definitely very different to the standard English. And finally, the hardest level is with a very, very thick Black Country accent. Again, not a perfect Black Country accent. This is not about the accents being perfect. It's about seeing if you can understand English in lots of different ways. So let's listen to story number 1. This is the easiest level. See how much you can understand. If you don't understand a lot of it, don't worry. I will be there to help you. Take it away, me.
Have I not told you this story? Right, okay, so I was doing a play in third year of drama school, and it was St. Patrick's Day. I remember it was St. Patrick's Day because this is important. And I had some skinny jeans because I was still wearing skinny jeans at the time, and I went to pull on my skinny jeans and they're tight. Skinny jeans are really tight, and my foot got caught in the bottom of the skinny jeans, and because they're little, the hole for your leg is about that big, so my foot was caught in it. So normally if my foot got caught, I would just pull up my jeans like this, like one quick yank. So I yanked up my skinny jeans, and then my foot became unstuck but went like forcefully hit the ground. My foot banged against the ground and my little toe broke. I felt it straight away. I went, oh, it was horrible. And my toe went black. And then, and we had to go and get a new phone for me because my phone was broken. And I couldn't walk 10 minutes to the phone shop because I was in so much pain. So we had to get a taxi, and then we got stuck in traffic because of the St. Patrick's Day parade. So I was sat there, broken toe, phone didn't work, St. Patrick's Day people walking all around the car. It was not a fun day. So yeah, you can break your toe by putting skinny jeans on.
How was that? Did you understand all of it? 90% of it? 100%? Let's look at it in a bit more detail. The main difference, it was St. Patrick's Day. I remember it was St. Patrick's Day. I remember it was St. Patrick's Day.
It was St. Patrick's Day. I remember it was St. Patrick's Day.
Do you see how I take that R and I put it onto it? So I actually say writ. I remember writ. That's very confusing if you're expecting me to say, I remember it. If you're expecting to hear a pause in between the words, it's going to be very confusing when I say, I remember it was St. Patrick's Day. So what we're doing here is we are doing a linking R. So in a standard English accent, which I am speaking with in this story, we only pronounce R's if there is a vowel after it. Okay, that's the general rule. However, when we have a word like remember, there's no vowel after that R, so we don't say it. We just say remember, remember. However, double however, when you have a vowel that starts the next word, so remember it, if I want to link those two words together, I have to pronounce the R. Remember it, because suddenly there's a vowel there. So we have to follow the rule. We pronounce the R if there is a vowel after it. So it becomes remember it. The next link I did was pull on.
And I went to pull on my skinny jeans.
So I've got the word pull and I've got the word on. but I'm not going to say pull on. I'm going to say pull on, like it's one word. Pull on, pull on. The main idea with linking most of the time is you are taking the ending of a word and you are putting it on top of the beginning of the next word. So instead of saying pull on, we're going to say pull on. I felt it straight away. I felt it straight away.
Felt it straight away. I went, oh.
I could say I felt it straight away. But then I would sound like a robot. I would sound like ChatGPT, okay? So what I do is I link it all together. I felt it, well, hey, I felt it straight away. Can you hear those T's being carried over to the next word? We are not putting a gap there. I felt it straight away. So the best way you can understand someone when they link words is for you to understand how to link words. So if you become an expert on linking sounds and linking R's and all of that, when you hear it, it's a lot less foreign. It's a lot less weird when you hear it. So you need to learn how to make these linking sounds so that when you hear it, it doesn't feel as crazy. Another thing I do in this story that might be confusing when you listen to it is I drop my T's. This is super common, not just from people in the UK, but from people all over. The T is becoming a consonant that we don't like. We're changing it. Americans turn T's to D's. British people just drop T's. So you've got to kind of become an expert on the letter T. So what I do, because it's my habit, is I drop the T. So instead of saying my foot got caught, I say my foot got caught in. My foot got caught in.
And my foot got caught in the bottom of the skinny jeans.
So I do pronounce the T at the end of caught, but that's because there's a vowel word after it and I want to do some linking. So I want to say caught in. So I put the T in front of in. But for foot and got, I take away the T. So my foot got caught. So when you're listening to many people from the UK, many native speakers, don't expect to hear those T's. What you're going to hear instead is a glottal stop. So if you sing for me, do it right now, go ah. Now imagine that someone has just turned the volume off. So you're going to go ah. Don't close your mouth, just stop the air. Ah, stop it. The way that you're stopping the air in your throat, that is a glottal stop. We just stop the air coming out of our throat. It's like someone just goes, just closes our throat. So when I say my foot, I just stop the air coming out of my throat. I don't say foot, I say foot. So listen out for those glottals. When you hear a that's probably a T. Let's move on to story number 2, because I think we're going to need to spend a little bit more time on that one. So this is story number 2. Have a listen, see how much you can understand. Let's go.
I've met a few celebrities. I don't know why. They're just sort of like, they just happen. But I remember one time I was walking down like Soho or somewhere. But the traffic had been awful, and like, you know, when you're in the car and you can't find anywhere to park and people are beeping at you and you're trying to like navigate around all the cars, and especially in London, in any kind of like big city, it's just awful. There were bikes and everything. And then I was just really upset, really tense. Everything was just so stressful. I felt like I could cry. I was walking down the street because I had to go somewhere. I was nearly in tears. And then walking down the pavement was riding his bike down the pavement was an actor from my favourite film ever. Like my childhood sort of like, this is my favourite thing ever. He was riding his bike down the pavement and I went, I know who you are. And he went, do you? And I said, yeah, you're Martin from The Parent Trap, which is my favourite film ever. And he was so nice, and we just spoke for like 10 minutes and it was lovely, and it made my whole day better. So I think, you know, he was sent from the universe to make my day brighter, and it was lovely.
How was that? Was that a little bit harder? Well, let's look at it a little bit more closely. So I was doing sort of an Essex, modern Cockney kind of voice. You'll hear this a lot in the UK. But even if you don't hear it, it's still really useful to train your ear with these different sounds, okay? I want your ear to be so trained that no matter what kind of vowel someone puts in a word, you still know what the word is, because then you will be able to understand anybody. But let's look specifically at what makes this story a little bit harder to understand. So quite near the beginning, I say, or summit. Or summit.
I was walking down like Soho or something somewhere.
So that's instead of saying or something. I don't pronounce all of that. You'll notice that native speakers don't really always pronounce words as you expect them to. They don't say the full word. Everything gets changed. So we say or summit. Well, a lot of people in the UK say or summit. So I was in Soho or something? Soho or something? Another thing I said quite a lot was like. This is so common all around the world. People saying like for everything. Like.
Yeah, and you're trying to like navigate around all the cars.
If you hear that word, just try to forget about it because it doesn't really mean anything. Unless the sentence is, I don't like him. She likes ice cream. You know, if it's the main verb in a sentence, obviously pay attention. But any other time, it doesn't really mean anything. You know, if I say, oh, she was like really sad, and I was like, why did you want to do that? And I was like confused. Those likes don't really mean anything. So be ready to hear them, but they don't really have a meaning. They're just kind of thrown in there for fun. I think a key reason why you might find this one hard to understand is because of the vowels. We've got completely different vowels here. So when I say, I don't know why, I say, I don't know why. Why?
I've met a few celebrities, I don't know why.
So why becomes why. You know, they get completely changed. If I said something like awful, it becomes awful. Awful.
And in any kind of like big city, it's just awful.
Instead of awful. So these vowels are just in a whole other world. That's probably why you're finding it really difficult to understand. So listen to it again, slow it down, try to pay attention to the consonants, all right? Try to just expect the unexpected. When I say like, I'm saying like, like. Now I know that's confusing, but you can still hear the l and you can still hear the k. So there's not a lot of other words it could be. Like. You can still hear the I of like in there. It's not too far away. It just takes a bit of practice of listening to slightly different types of English. It just takes practice. Let's move on to arguably the hardest one to understand, but just be patient with it, okay? If you don't understand a lot, it's okay. You are still maybe just at the beginning of your journey of this type of listening practice. If you have only ever listened to people who sound like me, this will be hard. It's supposed to be hard. Okay, so let's listen to story number 3, see how much you can understand, and then I will be here to help you out.
So I'm the youngest and I've got 2 older brothers. I've got one who is like 10 years older and one that's 6 years older, and growing up we never fought, never, verbally, physically, not at all, never fought, very calm. But my older brother sometimes would pull pranks. He was a bit of a prankster. He liked to pull pranks on me and like, you know, try to warm me up or whatever. And I remember one time I was at a school disco and I had a lovely dress for my school disco. It was lovely. I had like a flowery dress on, and my younger brother had gone to pick me up, and my parents were, I think because my brother was so much older, he looked after us sometimes. So my parents were away. My younger brother came to pick me up from the school disco. I came back, and when we came back to the house, there was like a ladder going up from the floor to the window, and the window was open, and there was like our television on the floor outside. The door was open. Robbery, right? It looked like there'd been a robbery. Someone had broken in. There'd been a burglary. I started crying, sobbing. We're like, what are we going to do? My brother's there, like, I don't know, what do we do? There's a burglar in the house, what do we do? And then my older brother came out of the house and went, oh, sorry, Laura, I didn't think you'd be here. I was hoping it'd just be your brother. I was trying to pull a prank on your brother, and I didn't want you to be here because it's too scary for you. So he just wanted to prank my younger brother, but he wasn't expecting me to be there. So instead of having like a fun prank between 2 brothers, you got me crying, 6-year-old, terrible, traumatic, awful.
How was that? Was it okay? Okay, good. Let's talk about it. So this is probably an accent you're very unfamiliar with. It's not highly represented in the media. The closest is probably Peaky Blinders, maybe. But even that, it's much more Birmingham than Black Country. But it doesn't matter, okay? I am not here to teach you how to understand or do a Black Country accent. What I'm here to do is I'm here to open your eyes to all the different ways that English can be spoken, okay? It's not always like me. And that's why it's always so hard to understand native speakers. So let's get into it. Why was that so hard to understand? Well, first of all, I was using more phrasal verbs and phrases that you might not know. For example, I say, wind me up, to wind me up, to wind someone up. Now, if you don't know what that means, when you hear me say that, your brain is just going to go, what? What? So winding someone up just means annoying them, like in a fun way, maybe poking them, just making them annoyed. And try to warm me up or whatever. But if you don't know that, you don't know what I'm saying. Then I said to pull a prank.
He liked to pull pranks on me. And
when we pull a prank, we do a joke on someone. We maybe, pour water down their back or put something spiky on their chair. So when they sit down, they go, you're pulling a prank. Now, if you don't know that we use the verb pull with prank, when you hear pull, you're going to be very confused. Why are you talking about pulling? What's going on here? Pulling something? So obviously a huge bit of advice I have for you is you need your vocabulary to be as big as it possibly can be. The more words you can learn, the more phrasal verbs you can learn, the better. And don't just stick to Cambridge English books. Obviously you will learn a lot of English from those types of books, but make sure you're listening to real people speak. Make sure you're listening to podcasts where people just say the words they want to say, and maybe they'll say something that you'll never hear again in your life, but you might, so it's good to know. So really listen to real people, read books where the author likes to reflect real speech. I'm sure if you go on the internet and type in something like books using colloquial modern English, anything you can do to expand your vocabulary will really help with your listening skills, okay? Because you're already confused by their speed and the linking. You don't also want to be confused by the words they're saying. So you have complete control over learning vocabulary. So if you know all the words they're saying, then you just have to worry about following the vowel shifts and everything like that. Speaking of vowel shifts, obviously the vowels were very different in that story. I said things like window.
There was like a ladder going up from the floor to the window.
So instead of window, which is what I would say in standard English, you might hear somebody say window. I did a tapped R in that story. So I said very.
Not at all, never thought. Very calm.
In places like Scotland, Liverpool, Birmingham, you might hear these tapped R's. So if you're expecting to hear very, it might become very. So what's the best way to use these stories to help you the most? So what I would suggest is take the stories that you find challenging. Maybe it's all of them. That's okay. Choose one to start with and listen to it 5 times. 5 times. If you want, you can play it the first time on a slower speed. So listen to it more slowly. You can even read the subtitles if you want. There will be accurate subtitles on this video, so you can even look at the subtitles if there is something that you just do not understand. Listen to it 5 times. Write down any of the areas, any of the points in the video where you're really struggling, and then focus on those points. Look at the subtitles. Read what I'm actually saying, and then listen to how that's coming out of my mouth. Become a detective, like you've got a magnifying glass. What is it about what I'm saying and how I'm saying it that is not making sense to you? Is it the fact that I'm mumbling? Because I mumbled a lot in that last one. I was kind of mumbling like this. If it's because I'm mumbling, you need to find some people to listen to who mumble, okay? That's your goal. You have to listen to mumbly people because clearly that is the thing that is quite difficult for you. Stop listening to the same types of English. It is not going to make you brilliant at English comprehension because you're only listening to one type of person. I hope this was useful for you. Please don't get overwhelmed if you listen to these stories and thought, I don't understand a thing. It's okay. You've got plenty of time. There's plenty of resources to help you.